Hello, and welcome once again to Life That Matters. My name is Dr. Sharon Norris Elliott, and here at Life That Matters, first of all, let me thank you, all my viewers, for watching. Make sure that you bring your friends on today. Bring them in because this is the second show that I am so pleased. I am pleased as punch. I hear other preachers saying, I am peacock proud, okay, to have the guests who I have with me today. My guests are my boys, my sons, Matthew and Mark. Matthew is my oldest. He was my firstborn. He was the first person to hear my heartbeat from the inside. Uh, and then 21 months later, his little brother was born, Mark. And I'll never forget Matthew and Mark, the day that I brought Mark home from the hospital. Until that time, Matthew had he had been almost a holy terror. He had been almost a holy terror. Okay.
Really?
That whole, his whole, it was like his whole function in life was to do the opposite of what I said. But the day that I brought Mark home from the hospital, he peeked over into the blanket, he kissed him, and then he became Big Brother mad. And he was the protective, he didn't give me like any more issues. It was just like, Mom, we got this. Notice I said we, right? We got this. Matthew has been trying to run things, but I guess he figured, okay, she's proficient and pretty efficient, so she's good with this. And then Mark was my very happy, easygoing. He slept through the night from the day he came home from the hospital. It seemed like his whole attitude was like, Mom, no problem. Right? I'm not going to give you any issues. We're good. Right? That kind of thing. It's like, wow, okay. And then they started growing up and they were total opposites of each other. Total. Matthew is the take charge, I want to run it person from since he was a little kid. Mark was we are going to have fun with this. I don't care what you say. Now, I'm not going to clean up afterwards, but we're going to have fun, right? We're going to have a good time. So their whole personalities, I was able to actually find out about the personalities when actually before Matthew was born, and I started looking to see, does this have any merit? And in a way, yes, God made them the way they are, and even the way they are today from when they were little. And I had to learn how God had bent them. The word of God says, raise up a child in the way he should go. That doesn't mean, parent, in the way that you want them to do things. That means raise them the way you see God has bent them. And so I needed to raise Matthew and give him that kind of, freedom and example of being the head, right? And in charge or whatever. I had to raise Mark to realize he's never going to sit behind a desk for a job, but he's going to have to be responsible for wherever he was. And, it was just that different thing. And I loved raising them and still miss them, but I've gotten busy enough. So we talked in the last show about some of the books that I've written, that the parenting books that even involve Matthew and Mark in a way. But the one about launching young adults, Boys, can you tell a little bit about how you were, or did you feel ready, or how did you, because you left for college and you never returned. You went on into your own life, which is what I was trying to make sure happened for you. So, can you talk a little bit about that launching process, how it went for you, or whatever? Whoever wants to go first.
I can go first. Yeah, I was ready. I think, just like growing up, I remember I wanted a job at 16 years old, and I like
Mhm.
dad like had me like write all the reasons why I wanted it. So
Hmm.
for me, I think, yeah, I don't know if you remember that. He had me
I
like
don't
write
know that. Yeah, I didn't know
Oh
that.
yeah, he had me write like a letter or essay or saying like why I should have a job,
Oh.
just to make sure I was like serious about it. But I think for me, I mean, I was just always eager to just do more and just explore creatively. And I feel like I always wanted to be an adult. I don't know.
Okay.
So, and I think just a lot of the exposure, like with the conferences and with the travel we did, or just like always being around those things, it kind of primed me to do it. So, with college, I really went first head into it because I finally, not finally, but like I had the freedom to be able to be like, okay, I can start doing this film thing, or I can explore this. And I'm like such an extrovert at times and meet like a lot of people. So I was just really, really enjoying it. And I also got
Mm.
involved in everything. I had a job on campus. I ran for, the college student council. I was a doing broadcast journalism with Eagle Vision somehow, and worked
Yeah.
in the equipment room and was making my movies. So for me, it was just a playground to be able to have all my little entrepreneur like you
Hmm.
know um activities.
So you didn't
So
feel
yeah.
like there were apron strings
No,
to.
no, I mean, yeah, I didn't feel like there were apron strings. I was like, let's go. Because I think one thing what was great about it is that you all have always supported me with my dreams. You bought me my first camera. You
Hmm.
took me to film festivals and let me go there. You helped me like took me to Kinko's or wherever you buy business card stuff to, get the cards to like make my own business cards. And
I know.
I
Matthew
yeah,
had business cards when he was in high school, and you must have
yeah.
had like 500. That they had one phone that they had to share. This was back in the day. Uh, and
Yeah.
Matthew had like 500. Um,
Oh
you
yeah, I
know,
had a Palm Pilot, I had a
people.
BlackBerry at like 17 years old. I was emailing, I was ready.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so Mark, how was the breakaway for you?
Yeah, for me, I just remember your voice in my head.
Uh-oh.
And Matt, yeah, and Matthew, you could probably remember this too.
Uh-huh.
She was like, there's no grown man about to live in my house,
Oh yeah,
and she was
for
telling us
sure.
that
Yeah,
since we were kids. She's like, if you 18, you got two options. You can either go to college, or you can go to the military. And I'm like, I ain't going to the military.
it wasn't an
I,
option,
Uh,
but to
and I
go.
didn't
Yeah.
want him to go to the military, but
Right,
anyway.
right. But see, it was more of she was just planting that seed. You were planting that seed and just, letting us know like, grown men have to be in this world and to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. So for me, I took that and I took it and I kind of went I, I I took it and I went very far with it because I didn't apply to any schools in California,
Right.
any colleges, not one.
I know. And parents, parents,
She want me to go. She want me to leave at 18. All right,
you gotta know, it wasn't about putting them out. I remember realizing once I had Mark, I have two African American boys who were
Mhm.
going to be men in this country.
Right.
And they were going to have to be able to handle it. And so the best thing I knew to do was to say, I love you. There's no lack of love and everything, but my job is to help you to be an adult.
Right.
And so I think, my opinion now, I know all you viewers or whatever, but that is our job as parents, to help our children become the adults, once again, who God wants them to be. Because God has no grandchildren. And if they are going to find their way even into the kingdom of God, it's also not going to be on my coat strings. Now, I could pour into them all the truth and all of that, but everybody goes to heaven on their own merit. And it's not their merits. We don't have any merits. We all go to heaven because we know Jesus. And they're not going to go to heaven because I know Jesus, right? And so it's important. I have boys who are wonderful citizens. They are good people. If they were not my sons, I could still respect them, right? And want them to be a part of the lives of whatever other children I had or what have you, right? That's important. And parents, especially moms, I heard of a mom whose grown daughter who has a job, when the daughter went on a cruise and the mother is like flipping out because the daughter went on a cruise, by herself. There's like 2,000 other people on that boat. She's not by herself. But I didn't have girls, so it might be hard for me to speak on girls. I just know about boys. And my boys are men. And I'm very proud of the men that they have become. We want to mention in this program again that we are talking also about entrepreneurship. And that is part of my boys becoming the men who they are, that they run their own businesses. Matthew has employees and he's got a whole conglomerate thing going on. Mark has 2 employees, but Mark has a family to support. And so Matthew, once again, tell folks the name of your company, the year that it was established.
Yeah, my company name is Rainbow Creative. It was established in 2018 as a video production company, and in 2020 we shifted to be podcast production primarily.
Mm-hmm.
And we are a full service podcast production company. So we help clients and productions do shows.
So if someone has an idea for a podcast and they need help, they could contact your company, correct? Or not correct?
Yes. So basically, people come to us with 1 or 2 things. They come with an idea or the idea fleshed out. And so if they have an idea and they want us to help them flesh it out, we can do some development to help, them like create something like really firm. And like, we help like branding wise, if a graphic designer, we help come up with a name. So we can help something, from the beginning because we do have experience launching shows. And then sometimes there are ideas and they need a production company to really just put it in action. And they come to me because I have, a team of directors of photography, editors, associate producers, and things who can work on multiple projects.
And how do people get in touch with you if they're interested in that?
Yeah, if you just go to rainbowcreative.co, so rainbowcreative.co, there's a contact page, and then you can just fill out a form and it'll come to us and we can reach out to you.
Okay, now I know Matthew talks really fast, and I'm used to hearing Matthew talk fast. So that is Rainbow Creative, TIVE, rainbowcreative.co.
Correct.
And that will get you information. That will get you to his company. Now, Mark, on the other hand, Mark, tell the people who are watching this show, just in case they didn't see the last show, tell them about your business.
Yeah, I own a pool cleaning company, a full service pool cleaning company. Was established right after COVID in 2020. That's what really launched it. We clean pools around the city. We install equipment, do electrical work, plumbing, drain and cleans, change lights and things like that for pools. And yeah, so that's kind of what I do on a day-to-day basis. I got a,
Mhm.
a small team of two, and we are, if you look on Google, we're if you type in top pool companies in New Orleans, we're right there. We're right there.
Love it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was really cool, Mark, that for a while you were really doing a lot on TikTok.
Yeah.
And you have 2.3 million followers.
That's correct.
And anytime I would, of course, Mama would tell people, "Yeah, my son has 2.3 million followers." And all I would have to do, even if I didn't tell them all that you did, just that number
Hmm.
made people add to that number. It's like
Oh,
people are
yeah.
like, really? What?
Like,
You
who
know,
is this kid? Right.
who is it? And they would log in. Now, I was at a medical office
Hmm.
and waiting my turn to like have blood drawn, and they had a TV going with just different little stories coming up. Up pops my son's picture. What? There's the video about Mark and his company. I'm like, oh, I know a
Amazing.
celebrity. And it's just kind of sad that this Blue Street Pools can
Mhm.
only be in New Orleans. I'm saying,
Yeah.
hey, you
Yeah,
should
my
do like
friends want to hire you in
you should
California.
do like
Yeah.
McDonald's or something.
Franchise it.
Yeah.
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 How do you spread this now,
Do like
Mark,
a week in cities, do a tour, and then clean people's pools and get some
or
business.
something? How did you come up with the name? I love this story too, Mark. Blue Street Pools.
Yeah. So I was at my house, kind of when I made the decision that I was going to start a pool company. I was just kind of looking at names online of other pool companies, and nothing really resonated with me. And just kind of meditating, praying, and I don't know. I just got a download from the man upstairs. I was like, you know what? I was just talking to myself. I was like, you know what? One day, uh, I'm gonna have every pool on my block,
Mhm.
um, and I'm gonna be the guy for that. And then I was like, well, all those pools are gonna be clear and blue. Wait,
Hmm.
pools on my block, pools gonna be blue. Blue Street Pools,
Duh.
Love it.
right there, and it kind of has a nice ring to
It
it too.
does have a nice
I
ring
like
to
that.
it.
It's not splash pools or
You're right.
something corny. Not I'm saying not corny, but something that
Yeah,
you could just look up. It's like no, it's Blue Street Pools. It kind of has a backstory
it
to it,
does. Yeah.
to it. So that's how I came up with the name Blue Street Pools.
Love it. Love it. And I've just noticed in talking today that all the businesses that we have running, they really got their kickoff in 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we didn't plan that.
No.
No.
We didn't
No.
plan that. When I retired, and I had been writing, and I had authorized me business going as a teaching tool and editing for people. And that's when I went full time and added the
Yeah.
agency. So we started out talking on this show about family legacy. I talked about my grandfather in the late 1800s having his own business, again, way before his time as a Black businessman in the South. Having his own business, stepping out. Basically, our families have always been in church, doing what God gave us the power to do, and seeing God bless it. And so he stepped out. My dad, he stepped out. Now it was my turn. My sister has had her own business before. So stepping out and then looking at living before your children in a way that positively encourages them as well. Now, at the time, I didn't know that, Matthew and Mark were even paying, that kind of attention. They probably didn't know either. It kind of dawned, right, as you get older, go, oh, wait, because I remember not even thinking, oh, my dad, yeah, he had his own business. And then when he went into ministry, you're pretty close to having your own business being the pastor, almost of a church. But honoring family, honoring legacy by doing what you were raised to do, right? Bringing in what you're raised to do, that makes family proud. And that keeps you close. I had to preach a Good Friday message, and I had the last word that dealt with Jesus taking care of his mother while he was on the cross. And I thought about him being a son, right? And how his mother had raised him, and then he turns around and he, from the cross, says, look, take care of my mama, right? And I know that my boys, I get to call them boys. They're men, but I still get to call them my boys. I see them taking care, right, of themselves and taking care of other people, right? Mark, has a wife and 3 kids. Matthew's got I don't know how many employees.
11
employees, right? That he's responsible for, not only himself, but people that you're taking care of. That is manhood. Okay, that's manhood. And to be able to raise boys, be a part of boys' lives, like their aunt Terry, is a big part of their life, taking care, right? Making sure they're good, as young people before they could take care of themselves. Yeah, that was my responsibility, and I took it seriously, right? But we had a whole bunch of fun with growing up and doing what we do. So, we just want to put this out there as parents. Do what you do for your kids, but know that you are working yourself out of the job of the everyday. And you're placing within them the strength that they're going to need to move on. And then sons, remember to honor. The Bible even tells you, honor your father and your mother. We're talking about mothers, so this is Mother's Day, right? So honor your mother. It's important. As Mother's Day is coming, Matthew's here in the city. I get to spend Mother's Day with Matthew, right? I'm so excited. I get to go and spend time, with Mark and with his family, with his beautiful, beautiful wife, right? And Mark has told me a little bit that Tabitha's like me in some ways, which is an honor, right, for your son to marry someone who's like his mom. So guys, we've got about 3 minutes, maybe put in one last word. You got about 1.5 minutes to put in your last words for today.
You only have one life to live. Go for it. You don't want to end your life without at least trying your dreams. So I'd say it's like, if you're frustrated about being a job that you don't like, you're in your own way. You don't have to go right away. It took me 8 years to be building a business to get to 11 people and get to the growth. We're really just getting started at this point with where we are. I made a lot of mistakes, but every time I made a mistake, I took that as an opportunity to learn and grow, and it just made me stronger. When you're in this process, make sure to be authentic, because people will trust that. Make sure to go over and above and be kind to people. My service is the same as any other podcast service, really, at the end of the day. But I think what people come back to, one of my clients wrote that we genuinely care and we have a heart for it. So if you have a heart for it and you care, people will take a chance on you because they believe in you. So like when you believe in yourself more, people will believe in you, and you'll be surprised. My business is run almost 100% from referrals and word of mouth.
Nice.
So think about what's going to happen when we actually, which is our next phase, get really serious about business development. So yeah.
Okay. Amen, brother. Okay. Okay, Mark.
Yeah, no, for anyone out there that's looking to start their entrepreneurial journey, the main thing is you have to start. That's
Yeah.
the biggest
Like,
part. You have to
duh.
start.
Yeah.
You have to start. You can think about it, you can write it down, but you have to put action behind
That's
that.
good.
And then once you start, you have whatever industry you're in, you have to obsess over that industry, and you have to learn
100%.
that industry. You can't just start and think you're gonna be good at something. No, I failed a lot. My first year was my hardest year. I lost a lot of money because I just didn't know. But the main thing about entrepreneurship, if you don't quit, eventually you'll figure it out. And it usually takes about a year to get all the kinks out the way. And the second year is going to be easier, but by year 3, you're rolling.
Yeah.
But you still need to be learning and growing and perfecting your industry, because I'm still going to classes and things like that. So I just want to
Same.
leave y'all with this, man. Stick to the plan, not the mood.
Ooh. You see
So good.
what honorable and smart people these fellas are? Oh my goodness. You talk about pride.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love these guys. Guys, thank you so much for being on both of these shows with me today. Pass the viewers, pass this information along. It was necessary. It's needed. Just get started and keep your hand in God's hand. My name is Dr. Sharon Norris Elliott, and this is Life That Matters. Be with me again next